everyone, and welcome back to the Content Mix. I'm Carlota Pico, your host for today's show, and I'm excited to introduce Florian Blois, who is EMEA Regional Destination Marketing Manager at Hotelbeds. And Florian has also lived in over 5 different continents in the world, and right now he is based in Amsterdam. Welcome, Florian, and thank you so much for joining us today on the Content Mix.
Thank you very much, Carlota. Pleasure is mine.
Okay. Florian, so you're originally from France, right?
I am, yes. I'm a French guy who has been, as you were saying, living the past, about 7 years in 5 different continents, working from a small resort in the middle of New Zealand to a big hotel chain in the middle of Beijing, and it's 25 million people. It's a bit of a gap. So different background, different experience. And now I do live in Amsterdam I've lived here for the past 2 years.
Okay, excellent. Did you always envision yourself working for the hotel industry?
Yeah, so that's actually my background. I did a bachelor degree in tourism management in a French business school. And then after that, I wanted to specialize myself more in the hotel sector. So I did a master in business administration in a big hotel school called Vatel. And I wanted to be a bit exotic. So I was like, they had a school in Mauritius Island in the Indian Ocean. Yeah. So I was like, why not going there? So I went there for 2 years. And I have to say, it's probably the best place to learn about hospitality and luxury in an island like Mauritius Island. And I stayed there 2 years. And after that, I joined more the distribution side of the hotel industry. Currently working there for Hotelbeds.
Okay, and so now you are regional destination marketing manager, right?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
And so what do you do? What does that mean?
Yeah, so the origin of the name of that position comes from the destination marketing organizations called DMOs. So the DMO, basically, it's an organization which promotes a location as an attractive travel destination. So it can be a tourism board, a minister of tourism, a CVB, for example. And my role at Hotelbeds during that position is to create strategies, campaign, sometimes PR activities for the destinations to basically educate our agents and drive incremental tourism to the destination. So I look for over the EMEA region. And we make sure that we are aligning with these clients to launch effective actions.
Okay, so how do you know where to focus your efforts on? Because every market can be equally as powerful or equally as lucrative.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. So maybe a few words on Hotelbeds for those who might not know the company. We are the world's largest B2B travel distributor. What does it mean? Is that we direct contract hotels and activities, over 300,000 hotels, and we distribute it to a B2B audience. So it can be travel agencies, tour operators, airline companies. We have partnership with 52 airlines where they directly buy from our inventory, strategic partners, points redemption. So that's how the business is working. We host also a platform called Beds Online. And that platform is the most used platform for the travel agencies worldwide. To go back to your question, how we know where it's the most lucrative? Well, it all depends on the negotiation, right? We do, Hotelbeds does, not this year, obviously, but last year we were doing about more than 50 million bookings on a yearly average. So we basically have some business for every destination at the moment. But we know that with some promotion, marketing campaigns, incentivizing our agents, we're able to drive more business to a certain destination. Mm-hmm. So we don't pick destinations beforehand. It's just up to our negotiation with the tourism entities.
Okay, Florian. So I'm going to have to ask you about COVID-19 because obviously it's really impacted the world in general, but especially the travel and tourism industry. How have you had to adjust your marketing plans for this very troubling and unstable time?
Yeah, well, definitely. I think any companies has been majorly hit by COVID-19. but especially in the travel industry, right? So the marketing plans have definitely been changed, affected, but even more our marketing department. I'm not going to talk too much about our marketing for our own company, but maybe more about the destinations. The destinations at the moment, and they always do, but depend a lot on the governmental policies. So let's say if a government decides to close the borders, well, let's forget about marketing. There's nothing they can do to bring people to their place if the borders are closed. And that has been the case over the past few months. Plus, on the top of that, you have a cut of budget for the tourism boards. Why? Well, some tourism boards work with a city tax. That's how they get their money. That's how they are financed. Of course, there's no tourism anymore in their city. Well, there's no city tax. Then they don't have budget anymore. So it has been challenging on that side. But what we have been doing over the past few months is really being a close partner to all our tourism board partners in terms of being very transparent into delivering data. For them, data is very important to know what is the trading, what is the situation looking like in terms of consumer behavior as well. So we're able to deliver this data for the companies. We also did some few campaigns with some destinations in my region, in EMEA. Basically now the campaigns are definitely more domestic for domestic audience, promoting more like a secondary destination. You know, the people now, travelers don't want to go to a crowded city, don't want to visit the capital city of the country, but more the countryside or a city that hasn't been really promoted over the past few years. And then we also have to adjust with the lead time. So the lead time is how long basically in advance a consumer is booking. We used to have, as a B2B player, we used to have 55-day lead time. And now we're seeing that our clients are booking within that 7-day window period. So all of this has been impacting the way we do marketing. So yes, to summarize, promoting new places for domestic audience, last minute deals is important, and also with heavy safety content. That's what our agents want to read. How is it easy to get there? What is the destination doing to be a safe destination to travel to?
Yeah, our backgrounds are actually really similar because I used to help tourism and destination investment authorities to attract an audience to their local markets, right? So I worked with the tourism authority of the Maldives, of South Africa, of Hungary, the list goes on. I've been doing that for 10 years. And I still keep in touch with a lot of these government authorities and government-owned agencies. And actually, one of the campaigns that really caught my attention lately was done by the Maldives. The Maldives is right now offering a work-from-home package in their ultra-luxury resorts. So high net worth individuals are able to book a luxury destination resort for 1 month and work from there, and they have their own personal assistant and their butler, and they have access to Wi-Fi and printers. Have you seen any other destinations really trying to make the best out of COVID-19 times?
Yeah. Well, Thailand, for example, just announced that they are launching a visa for, let's say, we're going to call them digital nomads, that they can work from anywhere in the world. So it's a 9-month visa that you can stay in the country, enjoy the Thai life, and don't have to go back to your country in between. So I think that's going to be also a future trend nowadays, because a lot of people now can work fully from home, more or less. They can travel long term to a destination. So why not keeping discovering the world, but more as a local than on just a weekend touristic trip.
Yeah, no, definitely. I couldn't agree more. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about how you create your marketing campaigns from idea to actually launching a campaign. What does that look like? How does that process work?
Yeah, sure. Well, first, how we get connected to our partners, to our tourism boards. We meet them essentially at the fairs. So we go to World Travel Market in London. It's one of the biggest in the world. ITB in Berlin. ATM for me in Dubai. That's how you have, let's say, 40 meetings a week, that week of the fair. You meet your partners. You know what they are, what is their tourism promoting strategy. You know what source market they are willing to bring to their country. You also align on their budget, what they are willing to spend to attract some passengers. And we start from there. So we start from there. We say, look, we have a powerful database where we know how many packs per. We can even do it per day. We are bringing from a certain source market to that destination. Mm-hmm. And then we say, so this is the base without any much promotion for your destination for this source market. And with an effective strategy, with education of the agents, with incentivizing our agents, we will be able to drive X amount more percentage more to your destination. Mm-hmm. So we drive that marketing strategy, that marketing plan. We show big piece of our plan, of our proposal, or the ROI, what it's going to bring to the destination. Usually we show the CPA, the cost per pax so how much do they spend to have one pax in their destination. And then we calculate what is the pax bringing to that destination when it's staying as a tourist. And then the partnership is it's hopefully enhanced. And then so once that stage is done, it's actually when the real work will start. So we connect with the tourism board, we connect with their content team, with their creative team. We usually try to get the content from the tourism board because they are the experts of selling the destination. We're not going to make a better content than them. So they are giving us the content. Of course, we adapt it to a more B2B audience because we're fully B2B. We do the design, we do the landing pages. Our sourcing team is negotiating extra promotional rates and activities on that destination, and then we launch the campaign. And then every day I'm going to look at the bookings to see if there's an effective action on what we do.
Florian, you are bringing such great memories back to me. So thank you for sharing your experience with us. I do have a comment though. I remember when I was working with President Poroshenko and with the tourism destination in Ukraine back in 2008, and the country declared martial law. And then obviously my campaign was affected because martial law was in place, and that of course had its effects on visitors coming in, coming out, etc. Yeah. How do you plan for the unplanned for?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is very hard. We had two main challenges. The first was about potential borders that they are going to be closed. If the campaign is already signed, already in a process, created, we are just going to put it on hold. So either if it's going to last 1, 2, 3 months until we can fully have effective action. Second challenge is regarding the ROI. How do we measure ourselves from basically nothing? So how are we able to be accurate into the number of packs we are going to bring, starting from nothing? Of course, we cannot base ourselves from 2019 at the moment, because that would not make any sense. Yeah. So what we're trying to be very creative, to innovate, to align with the tourism board strategy. One example is the market shares. Let's say all the countries in the Middle East are more or less closed, but the market share for, let's say, French people going to visit, let's pick Dubai as an example, is X amount with your competitive destination. And if we do a campaign with Dubai, our goal is going to be to increase that market share of French people going to Dubai compared to competitive destination. Mm-hmm. Because the tourism is at the same pace for all the regions and actually worldwide at the moment. So that's how we can measure now the ROI.
Okay. Well, I could talk about destination marketing all day. So I'm actually going to keep that for when we're off the record, so we can continue that conversation afterwards.
Definitely.
But let's talk a little bit about your journey so far. Could you talk to me about your favorite marketing moments to date and what made those moments so special?
Yeah, well, actually, I'm gonna go back to the Middle East example. We signed last year a very big campaign for destination in the Middle East that they wanted to target. Just for the record, usually once we launch a campaign, it's more or less for 2, 3, 4 source markets, depending on the strategy. But this one was over 20 source markets. It was a very long campaign, long partnership over a few months for more than 25 source markets. So we developed all the marketing content for a B2B audience. We launched a lot of webinars for our agents. We did massive email communication to all our agents. We promoted also our incentive program. So our agents basically make money to book that destination. And then we also translated, if you can imagine, 25 source markets. Almost all of them is in the local language. So that's translating more than at least 20 different languages.
Yeah.
So it was massive amount of work. And why for me was one of my proudest moments. It's the result of it, right? So when you see after the end of the campaign that you managed to drive more than 25% incremental passengers to that destination, it's a very, very happy moment.
Okay. And what about challenges? Because of course you're bringing back great memories for me, but I remember myself, I have 10 years of experience in destination marketing. And I remember that one of the challenges was just that I was always on the road, always on the go. I was never in one place for too long. And that has its own set of challenges for me personally, right? What about yourself? What type of challenges have you faced along the way in terms of life challenges and professional challenges?
Well, if we talk about before COVID, let's say, before COVID-19, originally I had a sales background, I have to say. I started being a contracting manager, which is basically a buyer for a certain source market. So I was based in Berlin, in Germany, where I was basically covering a portfolio of hotels, of suppliers, and buying hotels at a certain rate, and you negotiate the availability. And now, since 2 years, I'm more into that sales and marketing position. So the biggest challenge for me was to discover and to learn so many terms about the marketing industry. Marketing, better than me, it's always in movement. It's always changing. Even if I had some strong background in my during my business, my master in business, my MBA program, I had to review a lot, learn about bounce rate, click-through rate, impressions, dive into Google Analytics, and all that in a B2B environment, right? So that was probably my biggest challenges. And there, after COVID-19, let's say within the past few months, is not to be able to travel, definitely, because how are you expanding your portfolio without attending fairs? Well, of course, now it's virtual, everything is virtual. But I kind of miss that like contact, face-to-face connection with clients, and that's something that cannot be replaced. I think even the most powerful and the most advanced the digital meetings can be, the face-to-face meetings will never be replaced, I believe.
Yeah. Well, what I would add to that is also the cultural effect. I think from my experience, having face-to-face meetings was extremely important when I was working with different cultures, because a lot of times when I'm working with different cultures, that also involves body language, not only communication and language, but I was also communicating through my body language. And I was also showing examples that I can't always show through a screen. So there was a very physical aspect to the way that I was selling back in the day when I was doing destination marketing, which I think would be hard to do over a virtual chat.
Yeah, no, totally. It's exactly, well, for me, covering Europe and EMEA and Middle East Africa, I also feel that, right? Because in Middle East, there are some certain topics you're not supposed to talk, governmental issues. You're not going to talk about a certain destination to a specific destination. Yeah. So you need to have a bit of a cultural background of what's happening in the region to be the most effective, definitely.
Definitely. What about distribution channels? What distribution channels are you publishing your campaigns on?
So we do everything is digital. We have our own platform, right? So we have Hotelbeds, Hotelbeds.com, which is for the tour operators, the airline companies, the strategic partners, basically. And then we have our bedsonline.com platform, which is for the travel agencies. This is actually the most used platform for the travel agencies worldwide. So we have already two big platforms here, two powerful platforms. Then on the top, we are going to add some social medias, some email communications, obviously, for the campaign. We organize some webinars that we record and that we deliver to all our agents. So yeah, that's basically it. We don't necessarily. We used to because we have so many clients buying from us, big tour operators. We used to be able. Well, we are actually still are able to do some cross-client marketing. So basically, we can, because we're partnered with them, we can do some. We can put a banner and do an email communication of one of our client platforms from one of our client platforms. So you take a big airline company in America. If we're doing a campaign for a destination in Europe, we are able to do some marketing directly on their platform to send some packs to a destination in Europe as well.
Okay, channel marketing. Excellent.
Yeah, channel marketing. Exactly.
Okay, Florian. Well, let's take a step back and let's say that you had the opportunity to give one piece of advice to your younger self. What advice would that be?
Well, I'm still pretty young. I'm 28. So, but let's think about it. In terms of my life advice, I would say that time is very limited at the end, whereas knowledge more or less endless. So make sure to focus your time at something that you're passionate about. That's probably what I would tell myself, let's say 10 years ago. At work, that would be probably something related to the tech industry. I haven't really learned too much. I don't have a tech background because of my degree, which is more in hospitality and tourism. So I would tell myself to know, because tech is everywhere now, right? It's not even a department in itself; it's in every department in an organization. So maybe learn more already back in the day, like 10 years ago, let's say, about tech. Even now, I would love to have more competencies, better knowledge of marketing automation, for example.
Okay, well, it's never too late to learn something new.
No.
Still in time to learn about the tech industry. And spinning off of that response, what's the best piece of advice that you've received?
Well, if we still continue talking about that tech, I had an advice quite recently, actually, when we were building our team, our destination marketing team. It's about people. So workplace automation now is everywhere. It is really important for the business growth, for the productivity, for the efficiency. But what I've learned from actually my current manager is, at the end, you can have all that. What makes a successful team? It's the people, right? It's the people that you're hiring. You can hire the best developers, the best engineers, the best data scientists. At the end, if they don't have motivation, if they don't have interpersonal skills, interpersonal skills such as, I don't know, team spirit, motivation, patience are really hard to develop over the years. And the older you get, the harder it is actually to develop these skills. Yeah. Whereas learning about marketing automation, that's something you can do at 50 years old.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think emotional skills are super important, and that you can't really learn emotional skills. You have to build them through experiences and through, just by pushing yourself to the limits and running with the punches, I think. Okay.
Exactly.
Florian, let's move into our second set of questions, which are our rapid fire questions, your recommendations for our audience. To get this section started off, I'd like to ask you about your source of inspiration. So who do you admire? A professional role model or an influencer, perhaps?
Well, I'm a big fan of some, of course, very famous role models. Maybe on the public speaking, self-development, Brian Tracy is one of my favorites. I also had a chance not too long ago to assist to a conference given by Barack Obama that was in Sevilla for a big summit. That was so inspiring, right? Obama has the power to basically give powerful and deep message in simple words. Well, I guess that's the secret of all politics, of all politicians. But it really does, and that's definitely inspiring. But I also try to learn the most on the people that surround me. It can be so not necessarily professionals, not necessarily famous people. It can be, I don't know, motivation for life from my parents. Also, as being a sales marketing manager, my boss, that I think is one of the best sales guy I've ever met. So I learn a lot from him. So all of these people that surround me, I learn a lot from them. I guess more than role models or professional speakers.
Okay, well, I'm sure you're going to win some brownie points with your boss for that shout out.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That wasn't made on purpose.
Florian, what about a resource that you'd like to recommend to our audience? So, for example, a hashtag, a book, a publication, an event.
Yeah, well, so being in the tourism industry and tourism industry, it's fast paced. It's changing already, especially at the moment.
Yeah.
Every morning I go to a website called Skift Magazine, and they provide all the news happening in the industry. So it can be about new partnerships, it can be about new measures that the governments are setting up. But also on that platform, I can do a bit of benchmarking with some destination doing campaigns because they promote it. So that's what I try to do, trying to get a bit of all news in my daily morning. And I have to say, for me, it's one of the best magazines to get that from.
Okay, excellent. And last but not least, what's your favorite app at the moment and why?
Favorite app would be, it's going to sound like I'm promoting my company, not my boss here, but my company. But we actually use a software BI tool called Tableau. Basically, they also have an app for data visualization. And this is the best you could ever have in your pocket. You go to a meeting, I don't know, when you go to those fairs, you randomly bump into the CEO of each tourism board in Europe, and you need to have data. You need to know how many packs you're bringing to this country. You need to know the top 10 source markets. You need to know the average length of stay. You need to know the ADR. And with this app, in 10 seconds, I have access to all that. So it has been, I use it a lot. Very, very accessible, and it has helped me as well a lot in meetings.
Okay, excellent. Well, Florian, thank you so much for joining me on the Content Mix. It has been so much fun to talk about destination marketing. It's brought so many memories back to me, and hopefully our travels will bring us to the same city one day and we can enjoy a nice glass of wine and keep on talking about destination marketing.
Definitely, that would be a pleasure, Carlota. Thank you very much for hosting me.
Thank you so much for joining us. And to everybody listening in today, thank you for joining me on the Content Mix. For more perspectives on the content marketing industry in Europe, check out the Content Mix. We'll be releasing interviews just like this one every day. So keep on tuning in. Thanks again. Have a fantastic day and see you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.